Okay. Looks like everything is up and running. Double checking, because we have triple stream going on. Maybe. Looks like possibly. Live on YouTube. Live on Rumble. Oh, and I'm going to have to mute the Rumble stream. Is it working? We have one more check. One more check. Twitch. Are we streaming to all three? Stream manager. Yes, it is live on all three. Oh, but Twitch is a kind of a pain in the butt. So let's change this. Not, we'll say news. Is that a thing? That is apparently a thing. Just chatting. There we go. And then we go to not politics, not gambling. All right, cool. Updated. Huzzah. We are live. Welcome, nerds, to hopefully what will be the last like experimental live stream, just as we have like 2 weeks before we're into the regular season. But yeah, I've got it figured out. I think the Atom multi-stream extension in OBS is kind of amazing. In today's show, let's go over the big headlines for today's show. In today's show, if I can get back to where I was, we have TikTok not really banned, kind of got a little bit of a relief. We have a Superman controversy for the Super Bowl ad that apparently has been released early. And we also have a bunch of like stuff from the past coming back, i.e. Resident Evil is getting a new movie. We have new movies for Goonies and Gremlins. We have a bunch of smaller things to talk about. Toxic Avenger is also a part of that history, comes back to haunt us. We have, like I said, a couple of quickies. One of the big ones for the quickies is follow-up to Nosferatu from Robert Eggers. Super stoked for the news today. It is a weird time to be streaming for us here on the channel. Oh, please don't tell me that it's dying. No, don't die. Last time it did this, it pooped out. Well, it looks like everything's still working. So, yeah, and because we are streaming rather early comparatively, I don't expect the chat to populate necessarily much at all. So, kind of is what it is. But we'll check one more thing before we... Nope, still going just fine on Twitch as well. First time chat. I noticed you haven't uploaded any professional logo to your channel. No, we're good. Okay, so all that being said, before we get into the actual news... let's get over here and talk about sponsorship things, partnership things. First off is DUBBY. Dubby.gg is the website. That is the place to go. Use code GeneralNerdy at checkout to get your 10% off of your entire purchase. We can switch into the actual... Where is it? This one. Whee! That is what the website looks like. We'll turn the DUBBY thing back on. There we go. So, yeah, we are partnered with DUBBY, channel partner. They give you 10% off. They give me a little bit of a kickback every time you use code Generally Nerdy at checkout. You can find the link to the store down in the description. In, I think, all 3 places we're streaming right now. Should be there. And, yeah, we'll probably mention them one or two more times throughout the course of the stream just because, you know, channel partner and whatnot. So we'll get into more details there. But let's take this off the screen and let's go to the other sponsor for today's show, and that is me. Yes, I am sponsoring myself. I'm going to be doing a bit more of a push for merch this season. This is the first 2 shirts. I'm going to have a whole run of these like this. These are going to be the 01 shirts or the double O. I don't know. I don't know exactly what I'm going to call the line just yet, but I have kind of preemptively dropped the first 2 shirts. So we have first 2 designs, rather. We have the Book Nerd design, which on the front is the delightfully gnarled Book Nerd image. Yeah, there we go. And then on the back is the kind of, you can't really tell from the picture very well, but it is a pixel art version of the logo with a thumbs up and Generally Nerdy across the top. I have had logo or merch stuff for a while, just haven't done a major push, and so we're doing that. You can find link down in the description. It is the spring store, so generally-nerdy.creators-spring.com. That is the name of the store. Again, link in the description. I'll try and put it like in the top comment or something in everything that's going on. That is our sponsor stuff for the moment. So let's talk about the news. First up in this week's news is TikTok. So just kind of TLDR in case you've been living under a rock or you just haven't really cared. TikTok was supposed to have been banned on the 19th of January. According to the previous DOJ and the previous American administration's decree, there was a law passed that basically, and we'll get into the funny bits about this, but there was a law passed that said that any company with a majority that was majority owned by what is deemed a national security threat or something along those lines, an adversary of the country, will not be allowed. Primarily, they were targeting TikTok, but they were targeting other things as well, like kind of blanket statements here. So people that were switching over to, I think they were calling it Red Book, which is a whole deep dive into stuff that we don't need to get into, but it's like, it's a reference to Maoist China. So you're actively feeding into communism, but some people are totally okay with that, and those people scare me. That app was technically being targeted too. Was supposed to, because it is exclusively owned by the Chinese government, so it should be banned as well. But when it came time to actually do the ban, TikTok had already started to shut down the American servers, and then the Trump administration stepped in and said, "Well, we're going to see what we can do to save this. We do agree that the law on the books needs to be there." We do agree that it is bad that the CCP has so much access to American information. And there's a really interesting thing I saw on Tim Pool, I believe, who was referencing when Jimmy Kimmel said it. A really interesting take on why it's bad that the CCP, like in more layman's terms, why it's bad CCP has information of basically kids, because that's who primarily uses TikTok, because those kids aren't going to stay kids forever. They're eventually going to grow up. So if the CCP already knows all of their contacts, already knows all of their habits, and knows very likely many, if not all, of their passwords, then when they grow up and get real important jobs, some of them are going to work for the government, then the CCP has passwords to get into government servers because they were set by these people who were once children who used TikTok. So really kind of a great way to lay out why this is a really terrible and frightening thing. Yes, it is well known that American companies take this data as well, but it's less of a scary proposition when American companies do it versus when an adversary to our country does it. So this is the biggest update so far. That was kind of the TLDR. Let's get into this from NPR. Exclusive: White House in talks to have Oracle and U.S. investors take over TikTok. I believe Microsoft is actually one of the U.S. investors in here as well, but we'll get into that. So according to the article, again from NPR, the Trump administration is working on a plan to save TikTok that involves tapping software company Oracle and a group of outside investors to effectively take control of the app's global operations, according to two people with direct knowledge of the talks. I love how anonymous sources just are... I mean, at this point, it is well known that Trump is doing things, or Trump's administration at least, is doing things to try and save TikTok. So the details here are kind of the interesting part. And also, like, coming from an anonymous source, from two different anonymous sources, apparently. Under the deal now being negotiated by the White House, TikTok's China-based owner ByteDance would retain a minority stake in the company, but the app's algorithm, data collection, and software updates will be overseen by Oracle, which already provides the foundation of TikTok's web infrastructure. So Oracle is, I believe, an American-based company. So all their servers and things are on American soil, which means that CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, would not have access to the American side of the data, and presumably, if ByteDance has a minority stake, then they're not going to have. They're only going to be getting a paycheck, effectively. That would effectively mean American investors would own a majority stake in TikTok, but the terms of the deal could change and are still being hammered out. Quote, the goal is for Oracle to effectively monitor and provide oversight with what is going on with TikTok, said the person directly involved in the talks, who was not authorized to speak publicly about the deliberations. ByteDance wouldn't completely go away, but it would minimize Chinese ownership. So I feel like that would still go against the letter of the law that they just passed, because they're not supposed to have any ownership. It's supposed to be complete divestment. So interesting. Maybe is part of this. Oh, go away, NPR. Is part of this to possibly change the wording of the law? Anyway, continuing on. NPR has agreed not to name the sources who are not authorized to speak publicly about the confidential talks. Other potential investors who are engaged in the talks include Microsoft. There we go. Back in 2020, Trump gave his blessing to a TikTok takeover attempt involving Oracle and Walmart that eventually fell apart. A source close to the discussion said the retailer is, at this point, sitting out after balking at the estimated price of the viral video app. Walmart is the largest private sector employer in the country, so that's interesting. Largest retailer as well. Officials from Oracle and the White House held a meeting on Friday about a potential deal, and other meetings, and another meeting has been scheduled for next week, according to the source involved in the discussion, who said Oracle is interested in a TikTok stake in the tens of billions, but the rest of the deal is in flux. A spokesperson for Microsoft and Walmart declined to comment. TikTok, Oracle, and the White House did not return a request for comment. When asked about the Oracle talks on Air Force One on Saturday night, Trump denied being in discussions with Oracle's Larry Ellison about a TikTok takeover. Larry is a friend of mine, Trump said. I'm not going to try and do a Trump impersonation. I never spoke to Larry about TikTok. I've spoken to many people about TikTok. There's great interest in TikTok. No kidding. Appeasing Congress. While estimates vary on how much TikTok's global business is worth, negotiators in the White House have said ByteDance believes it could fetch at least $200 billion billion dollars, putting it well outside the reach of any consortium of investors who have been promoting their bids, according to the source involved in the discussion. Another person who has sat in on the conversations with senior White House officials about TikTok deal said appeasing Congress is seen as a key hurdle. Under a law passed by Congress, here we go. This is going to hopefully get into a little bit more of the details of the law. And upheld by the Supreme Court, TikTok must execute what is known as a qualified divestiture from ByteDance in order to stay in business in the U.S. Trump has given wide latitude to interpret what that means, but experts say it could involve ByteDance retaining a minority stake. Okay, so that's the language they use in the law is qualified divestiture. Hey, Chris is here. What's up, Chris? All right. Congressional staffer involved in the talks of TikTok's future who was not authorized to speak publicly. So this is potentially a third source said binding deal agreements from the White House ensuring ByteDance cannot covertly manipulate the app will prove critical in winning lawmakers' approval. That is the whole point. Key part is showing there is no optional relationship with ByteDance or operational relationship with ByteDance that they do not have control, congressional staffer said. There needs to be no backdoors where China can potentially gain access. Fears about China, we already talked about that. People just don't understand, apparently, what exactly is at stake here. Under TikTok ban law, supporting TikTok while it remains under the control of ByteDance can lead to hundreds of billions of dollars in fines and punishment that can be leveled a year after Trump's term. Oracle is just one more... Wait, what? Oracle just has more confidence in Trump's political assurances, said Krebs at Brookings. For Apple and Google, yes, they were invited in the inauguration last week, but where will things stand? Where will things stand next week? Blah, blah, blah. So interesting. TikTok might be saved by Microsoft or by Oracle or some combination thereof. Super interesting. So our next big headline, and then we're going to get into some of the smaller bits, is the Superman controversy. Superman apparently was censored. The TV spot for the Super Bowl has censored the blood from the commercial. It's basically the same commercial that was released, the same trailer that was released in movie theaters, but they censored it. So let's read, shall we? James Gunn has cut out the blood from the new Superman TV spot featuring David Cornsweet as the new Man of Steel. Below, you can watch a spot in the trailer. Clearly, the blood has been cut out in the scene where Superman calls Krypto and is lying in the snow, and whistles. That is a lot of ands that are not necessary. In the trailer, Superman is coughing up blood, but not in the TV spot. So you can kind of see it here. Let's see if I can get this actually bigger. Because it's kind of minute. So here on the trailer side, you can see that the blood is dripping out of his mouth. And on the TV spot side, there is no blood dripping from his mouth. So that's the basis of the controversy. Why was blood removed? We don't know the reason for the edit. Someone asked Gunn on Threads. But it could either be that maybe the blood scene is too, quote, mature for TV. It was shown during NFL games on Sunday. Or maybe Gunn has reworked Superman and removed the blood from the footage. I actually like it better without the blood. I also like the spot a lot better than the trailer as it comes off way more hopeful. Interesting. I haven't even watched this stupid spot. Gunn also ditches the Christopher Reeve, John Williams guitar score, which is horrible. I don't know that it was horrible. It was a little member-berry-y, but not horrible. The spot is also put together a lot better than the trailer, in my opinion, according to the writer of this article, who is, I think, the guy who runs, Matt McGloin, who runs this website. Oh, also, speaking of Matt, we never talked last stream, I believe it was. I was talking about, because I use Cosmic Book News so much as a source, I should promote. They have another website called Stinky Garbage, and we never actually talked about this. Stinky Garbage is like a Rotten Tomatoes, but it's actually fan-driven. So you can come on here and leave reviews It looks like it's still working on picking up a little bit of traction, which is fine. Fans come on here, leave reviews. You can also come up here and talk about what you're excited about, the upcoming movies, including upcoming releases. Let's see if Nosferatu. It looks like there's still some bugs in the code because this one legitimately has no rating. But all of the movies say no rating, and then you actually go into the thing and it says, there's 1 or 2 ratings. So Stinky Garbage, stinkygarbage.com is the website. That is the fan-driven actual review website, so go check it out. It's run by the same dude who runs Cosmic Book News, so it is legit. Anyway, back to James Gunn and the blood in Superman. Gunn also ditched the Christopher Reeve. Oh, we talked about that. Spot is also put together a lot better than the trailer. Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor looks a lot better. Can Gunn please next fix Nathan Fillion? Oh boy, what's wrong with Nathan Fillion? What's the issue there? James Gunn Superman releases July 11th of 2025, so we are not that far out. Let's see if we can do this, and then I'll mute it if that helps. So here that is much more noticeable. Oh yeah, I totally see what he's saying about Luthor too. Nicholas Hoult is an underappreciated actor, I feel like, in this generation. There wasn't even a Green Lantern Nathan Fillion in there. Come on now. So yeah, that's the Superman controversy. Let's move right along. We're gonna skip over the Goonies thing for the moment because that's the next big one. Let's talk about Invincible season 3. Just some casting stuff that we're going into. Trailers do I think will appear at the Super? That's actually a pretty decent question, sir. I think that we're going to be seeing. I honestly, legitimately think that there's going to be a tease, not a legit trailer, but a tease for. I want to say Spider-Man, but it's going to be something super quick, like just a reveal of the actual subtitle for Spider-Man 4, because we are a fair distance away from the actual release of that movie, but just that little bit of a seed, I think will be super interesting to see. We're also probably going to get a proper trailer for the Thunderbolts movie. I think that's going to be given. Yes, Goonies and Gremlins. We're going to talk about that, but we're going to get a couple of smaller bits out of the way before we get to the Goonies bit. But yeah, we're going to get a proper Thunderbolts trailer. We're going to get. I really, really think we're going to get some sort of Spider-Man tease. I don't think it's going to be a proper trailer or anything like that. I think the Fantastic Four. Yeah, I think they're going to do some sort of cross-marketing thing with the Fantastic Four movie as well, because we're getting close to that. But I think those are the only real nerdy trailers that we're going to see during the Super Bowl. I really want them to do the Spider-Man tease. So that's kind of just wishful thinking on my part, but I think it's really not too early to start planting the hype seeds. You know what I mean? Also, I meant to ask you because you were missed last week, sir. If you watched my review of The Substance, because it is now up on the Clips channel all unto itself, as removed from the VOD from last week. If you've even seen The Substance or what have you, because I know you're real big on the horror stuff, Nicholas Hoult is a good actor. I do enjoy watching some of the movie season. Yo, if you haven't seen Nosferatu, also, even if it's a bad movie that he's in, he's always, just acting his ass off. Nicholas Hoult is one of those dudes who, just sells it. Just naturally you believe what he's trying to give you. So I think definitely people sleep on Nicholas Hoult, but yeah, if let me know if you've seen The Substance or if you've seen my review of The Substance, because I'm really interested to hear your take on it. But continuing on, Invincible season 3 cast Aaron Paul, Simu Liu, Solo Maraduena, and more. Amazon Prime Video has announced newcomers to Invincible's Season 3 cast, which includes Aaron Paul, Simu Liu, Solo Maraduena, Jonathan Banks, Kate Mara, John DiMaggio. Oh, hell yeah, John DiMaggio. Zima, Doug Bradley, and Christian Conver. I recognize most of those names, but the one that I'm super stoked for is John DiMaggio. Dude has great voice acting jobs. They joined Stephen Yeun, Sandra Oh, J.K. Simmons, Gillian Jacobs, and Jason Mantzoukas with Seth Rogen, Walton Goggins. Oh, I forgot Walton Goggins did a voice in there, actually. Not going to lie. Jason Mantzoukas, he already said that guy. Zazie Beetz, Gray Delisle, Zachary Quinto, Chris, that guy. Ross Marquand, Kari Payton, Andrew Rannells, Kevin Michael Richardson. Yes, I love that dude's voice too. Ben Schwartz has a great voice. Clancy Brown, Jay Farrow, Mark Hamill, and Melise Zhao. I feel like he missed somebody in there. I can't think of who I was expecting. Anyway, both Jonathan Banks and Doug Bradley's roles have not been released. Redacted. Ooh. Aaron Paul will be Powerplex. Kate Mara will be Becky Duvall. With a deep hatred for Invincible, Becky works with Powerplex to deliver justice she believes was denied. Oh, boy, that could get sticky with modern politics. John DiMaggio will be the Elephant. That's great. Serious villain with a serious name and a serious look. He wants the world to stop eating meat. He probably wants other things, too. It doesn't matter as long as he's taken seriously by somebody. Please. That's great. Zima as Mr. Liu. Under the wizened exterior, he's a ruthless leader of the Order and an international crime syndicate, but that's not all this mysterious old man is hiding. Solo Maraduena is Fight Master and Dropkick. Interesting. There must be twins, I would imagine. Freedom fighting twins. Yep, there we go. From a troubled future, they're willing to risk everything in desperate quest to save their world. Christian Convery will be Oliver. I feel like that's already been established, though, hasn't it? Oh, was a toddler last. No, he wasn't. We got the. Oh, that was the trailer, though. Ha, gotcha. Half Viltrumite, half Thraxian. Grow up real fast. Simu Liu will be Multi-Paul. An elite assassin for Mr. Liu's secret criminal organization, Multi-Paul, took the opposite path of his sister, Duplicate, but blood is thicker than water. Oh, that's interesting. Season 3 premieres February 6th. Super excited for Season 3. Super excited. They're not going to make us wait. Substance was a good movie. It was grossly... All right. So we're gonna have a difference of opinion here then, I think. Because I didn't hate it. I did not think it was great, though. I did not think it was really that good, even. I feel like there are tone issues because... Some of the actors, specifically, I'm thinking of. Oh, good Lord! I'm just going to pull up the wiki because I don't have the time to sit here and try and rack my brain with words and names that I'm just not going to remember. So. Dennis Quaid, there we go. Dennis Quaid and all of those like business dudes around her, I think, are in one movie. I think that Demi Moore is in another movie, and then I think that Margaret Qualley is trying to bridge that gap, but doing a very poor job of it. If they had stuck with the tone of one of those two sides, it would have been much better. But just like Demi Moore could still have been the straight man. Again, assuming, like I said in my review, assuming it's a comedy, Demi Moore can still play it as the straight man in the dark comedy of the horror that is the body horror of The Substance. And it could have worked better if she had given credence to the fact that it was it feels like they're in just separate movies. or if they had maybe worked on the interconnectedness of Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley's character, if they had maybe had a little bit better interplay, I feel like that could have been an angle that they could have gone after to make it a little bit more cohesive. It just felt really bits and pieces to me, and certain parts of it kind of felt rushed, and it was a fantastic idea and a really mediocre execution, I think, is the best abbreviated way to put it, in my opinion. So yeah, go watch, maybe leave a comment or something so we can have the proper discussion in the comment section so we don't derail the stream. But go watch the review over on the Clips channel, bud, because I really get into the major issues there and kind of where I think they could have improved things. But yeah, let's get back into the news. We talked about this one. We're going to this one. Armor Wars. MCU's Armor Wars sounds canceled, claimed to be on hold. So new rumor claims the Armor Wars movie is on hold and is getting completely retooled, but it sounds like the film may have just been canceled. The project was originally supposed to be a Disney Plus show, then it was changed to a movie. Rumor comes via Daniel RPK, because he is one of the biggest rumor mongers in the game right now, who says the flick is currently on hold and is likely to release after Secret Wars, which gets released in 2027. So that means the Armor Wars movie will be released in 2028, which, as it stands right now, like, kind of makes sense, because we have nothing working towards this Armor Wars thing. We had the Ironheart that didn't do super well, and that's about it. So we're focusing all of our attention on Doctor Doom. It would make sense that everything we're doing right now is heading towards Doctor Doom, and Armor Wars is not really something that is Doom-centric. It could be, because Doom is, kind of an all-encompassing baddie, but I think that still makes sense. Anyway, continuing on. Also claim the story is getting revamped and rewritten due to the backlash surrounding the Secret Invasion Disney Plus series featuring it revealed Don Cheadle's James Rhodes has been a Skrull all along and wasn't there during Avengers Endgame for the death of his best friend Tony Stark. Yeah, that was pretty stupid. What do the rumors say? Rumor comes via Daniel RPK, who says via X, the film is on hold. It's likely to release after Secret Wars. Basically everything we just went over. The story is completely different than the original plan. The script is being rewritten due to backlash from Secret Invasion. Okay. Is it canceled? According to the author here, I actually wouldn't doubt if Armor Wars was simply been canceled. For one, it's adapting the popular storyline from the comics featuring Tony Stark. Fans are tired of replacement characters. Just look at Captain America Brave New World. Well, there's a little bit more to the Captain America Brave New World situation than just replacing Captain America with the Falcon. Anthony Mackie? Yeah, Anthony Mackie just did an interview in Italy talking about how he doesn't think that one of the things Captain America should stand for is America. And that's a paraphrase, but only a minor paraphrase. It is a little bit ridiculous that you think that he should stand for American ideals, but not necessarily America. I think that is an absolutely ridiculous assertion, and that is a big part of the reason why that movie's not doing super well. Anyway, continuing on. If Robert Downey Jr. isn't going to be returning as Tony Stark in the MCU, I think they should James Bond the character and recast with a younger actor. Something like Armor Wars wouldn't be a bad start. It's a good storyline, full of cool characters, would be full of action. Armor Wars also comes from the woke era of Marvel, which hopefully looks to be over soon. I don't know about that. Nate Moore is producer behind Armor Wars, who was recently announced to be exiting Marvel. Moore is also behind Brave New World, and failed Eternals movie. Moore is the same bozo Marvel producer who said he won't hire writers that read comics. Okay, so maybe his last hurrah was Brave New World. They told the director of Secret Invasions not to read comics. How did that work out? Sorry, I am still getting over the sickness. Writer of Armor Wars also recently compared the project to Blade, meaning it's happening and then not happening. The writer seems to be on the wall that Armor Wars is canceled. So yeah, there's that. Next on the list, we have another casting announcement for the Lanterns show over on Max. The DCU Lanterns series has cast Ulrich Thompson, as Sinestro, described by the trades as a supervillain. No kidding, Sinestro. Well, I mean, he's kind of gray area villain, right? Danish actor Ulrich Thompson is known for a plethora of projects, including The Blacklist, Counterpart, The Thing, and lots more. 61-year-old Thompson joins Kyle Chandler, Green Lantern's Hal Jordan, and Aaron Pierre as Green Lantern's John Stewart. Also starring includes Kelly MacDonald as Sheriff Carey, Garrett Dillahunt as Modern Cowboy, William Macon, and trades seemingly confirm Porna Jaganthan as Zoe, a potential love interest for John, which was first revealed in casting calls. Sinestro a surprise. Why would Sinestro be a surprise? Why? I don't understand. Like, the Yellow Lanterns are kind of the antithesis to the Green Lanterns, so it would make sense that Gunn would go in that direction. News of Sinestro being featured in Lanterns comes as a bit of surprise, given that the series is known to be set on Earth. Descriptions of the show suggest that Jordan and Stewart are investigating a murder in the American heartland for some reason. Perhaps Sinestro is responsible, follows them, or appears early in the series in a space-based storyline before Jordan and Stewart return to Earth. James Gunn has also hinted that the big bad of Lanterns might tie into the larger DCU. Could it be Sinestro? Would make sense. Again, that shouldn't really be a surprise. Like, I would kind of honestly be surprised if they went with a different villain for this series. In the comics, and as depicted in the 2011 Green Lantern movie, where Sinestro is played by Mark Strong, Sinestro is initially a member of the Green Lantern Corps who mentored and trained Hal Jordan. However, eventually became leader of the Sinestro Corps, wielding yellow rings powered by fear. It's contrast to Green Lantern rings, which are powered by willpower. If Sinestro is indeed a supervillain in Lanterns, it's likely he's already wearing the yellow ring and suit. Or we could see the evolution of him going from Green Lantern to Yellow Lantern. It's entirely probable. If the Green Lantern movie had received a sequel, Sinestro as a Yellow Lantern would have been a major focus. Blah, blah, blah. We don't give a shit. So, yeah, casting announcement for Lanterns. Super cool. All right, let's get into the history stuff. We've got two more things from Cosmic Book, but we're going to hit one, and then we're going to hit something from Bounding in the Comics. Where is it? Where did it go? There it is. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna do one more here. We're gonna go to Bounding Comics, and then we're gonna come back to Cosmic Book, because the big one in Cosmic Book we have left is Goonies and Gremlins. So, Resident Evil reboot in the works from Barbarian filmmaker. This is another one, Chris. I'm gonna ask for your opinion on, because super interested to see. Did you see Barbarian? Also, what did you think of Barbarian? Because that was unexpected. I wouldn't say it was necessarily the best horror I've seen in a while, or in a long time. It was good. It was better than I think most, especially because it was a bit of a subversion of your expectations in general. So, yeah. But we do have this news piece, so let's get into it. The Resident Evil franchise is getting a fresh start, with filmmaker Zach Krieger set to write and direct new reboot. It's reported a heated bidding war is currently underway among major studios, including Warner Brothers and Netflix. And Netflix put out that really super shoddy Resident Evil series that's focused on Wesker, which was really dumb. Like, I really dig the actor they got to play him, but like, it was still a race swap version of Wesker, and like, Wesker's the bad guy. Anyway, Krieger, known for his work in the 2022 horror hit Barbarian, has quickly made a name for himself as a leading voice in modern horror. His upcoming project, Weapons, has generated significant buzz and also went through a bidding war, ultimately ending up at Warner Brothers. Weapons is set to star Josh Brolin and Julia Garner, described as an interrelated multi-story horror epic. Whoa, what? About disappearance of high school students in a small town. That is what? None of that adds up in my head. All right, so Josh Brolin and Julia Garner in a movie together. Okay. Described as an interrelated multi-story horror epic. So the multiple stories are interrelated, and it's a horror epic, like about disappearances of high school students in a small town. This is the word that's really throwing me off here. Epic. How do you do an epic story about disappearances of high school students in a small town that is also multi-layered with the subplots and have all of them? That sounds very strange. We're going to have to look into that in a future date. Who is behind the Resident Evil reboot? Blah, blah, blah. In addition to Krieger, the reboot is produced by Constantine Film, the longtime rights holder of Resident Evil, along with PlayStation Productions. Shay Hatton, whose credits include John Wick Chapter 4 and Army of the Dead, is co-writing the script. Oh, that's cool. Get a little bit of a return to the Army of the Dead staff. I'm down for that. Of note is that this reboot marks a departure from the 6 previous films starring Mila Jovovich, as well as the 2021 origin movie Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, which was also not very good. It was really mediocre to bad. While those films blended horror, sci-fi, and action, Krieger's version is said to revamp the franchise and return things to the horror roots that games are known for, aiming to be more faithful to the original Capcom video games. Super, super awesome. All right, like I said, we're going to jump from there. We're going to go talk about Toxic Avenger for just a moment. So, the ongoing saga of the Toxic Avenger and the remake. Streaming and entertainment company Cineverse is releasing the Toxic Avenger remake in theaters later this year, and it will be unrated. So, interesting set of words all put together in a row. We are back, citizens of Tromaville, when all hope seemed lost from the reimagining of our favorite superhero, the Toxic Avenger. Cineverse announced last Tuesday that they will be releasing the film theatrically later this year. Excuse me. And it will be unrated, which means probably going to be hard to find a theater that is actually carrying this movie, just because that usually carries a stigma that most theater companies don't want to deal with. Continuing on, the highly anticipated movie premiered at the opening of 2023 Fantastic Fest and Beyond Fest, that same year before taking the mop overseas to wipe the floor with 56 Sitges Film Festival in Spain. Is that what that is, Sitges? And then Dead Silence after that. Last July, movie producer Alan Masnick announced on X that the film had been deemed unreleasable by people who obviously think they know better, and has been floating in limbo ever since. Director Macon Blair, I don't feel at home in this world anymore, narrowly avoided the fate of having his sophomore feature flung into the much-feared vault of films that failed to find distribution and collect dust for all eternity, but the independent studio would be his hero of the day. I am beyond grateful to the team behind Toxic Avenger, who were so supportive and steady-handed as we search for the perfect distribution partner for our film, said Blair in a statement via Variety. It's so cool that folks have the chance to see this in theaters. I fully agree. It's a fun, rowdy movie you want to see with a crowd. Mutant hero smashes bad guy with a mop. Perfect entertainment for the whole family. Yeah, I don't know about that last bit, but yeah, sure. His statement continued. Our goal was always to preserve the heart and spirit of the original Toxie, who was seared into my brain at a very young age, and try to make something that Troma fans would dig, and at the same time do something with the character that feels fresh. What exactly that is still remains to be seen by most people, because we have not seen the movie yet. It ends. Lloyd and Michael at Troma have been a blast to work with. Absolutely everyone at Legendary are stars, and I can't wait to start working with the champs at Cineverse to bring this version of Toxie to fans, new and old. So yeah, we're getting the Toxic Avenger in theaters this year. Super awesome. All right. The big one, the biggie, the piece that we must discuss, must. Goonies and Gremlins movies, both in the works. Goonies 2, Gremlins 3. It is learned that Warner Brothers is developing new movies for both Goonies and Gremlins. In its report about its upcoming 2025 slate, Deadline reports on the Warner Brothers franchise hopes down the road, which include Christopher Columbus directing a new Gremlins movie. Regarding Goonies, it is said that a treatment is currently underway. So this is not going in the face of previous rumors that I have debunked, talking about the Goonies sequel, because this sequel doesn't fully exist yet. Like, there's no script for it. They're currently working on a treatment. They don't even have the idea of where this is going. So when we got previous statements from actors involved with the original movie saying that they're not working on a movie, there is no movie, so on and so forth, they were not lying either, because this is still at the treatment level. So pre-production, basically. The quote says, franchise hopes abound down the road with Lord of the Rings, Hunt for Gollum, Practical Magic 2, DC's Clayface, and Supergirl, Drew Goddard's incoming script for a new Matrix, which, oh man, the last one was a little bit of a stretch. Like, I still dug it, but yeah, you better do something to breathe new life in that franchise, baby. New Gremlins from Chris Columbus, and Goonies treat. So again, not even there's no names even attached to the Goonies just yet. What's going on with Gremlins? Last we saw of Gremlins, it was the prequel animated series that lasted for 2 seasons with Secrets of the Mogwai and The Wild Batch. On the live-action side of things, Gremlins 2, The New Batch, was released in 1990. The original Gremlins movie was released in 1984. So a lot has changed in the last 40 years. And what is known about Goonies 2? Sequel to Goonies has been rumored for years, but there's finally some official word, though it's still far from confirmed. Currently, only a treatment exists for Goonies 2, which means the project is far from greenlit. Emphasis on project is far from greenlit. Reason that Corey Feldman and Martha Plimpton, who played Mouth and Steph in the original film, stated Goonies 2 isn't happening. Again, they weren't lying, because at the time that they made those comments, this did not exist. Given that there's only a treatment, it's likely none of the original actors have been contacted about the potential sequel. No shit. Rumors suggest the original cast members are expected to return with the sequel, likely focusing on their kids embarking on a new adventure. The original cast includes Josh Brolin, Sean Astin, Jeff Cohen, Cary Green, and Ki Hugh Kwan. The Goonies is also back in theaters Sunday and Monday for the film's 40th anniversary. So, was that last week? When was this written? The 15th? Yeah, that was this past Sunday and Monday, apparently. Well, damn. Yeah, I think that is the entire article. So let's go check the deadline. I think it might just be that quote. That might be the only. Yeah, it looks like that's what it is. Bubba Dubba 2025 Superman James Gunn blast off into DC studio, arguably. Sources tell us that the duo. Oh, so this is even still technically. Rumor? Am I reading this right? Per latest update, figures from Deadline's Nancy. No, summer 2022. Come on, let's get to the good stuff. $90 million plus period horror title from Ryan Coogler in Sinners. $80 million Maggie Gyllenhaal steampunk horror movie The Bride. Most expensive Paul Thomas Anderson movie ever with his untitled Leonardo DiCaprio movie. Price tag between 100 and 140 million. Interesting. Yeah, this is a lot more detailed than I anticipated. Franchise hopes abound. There we go. So, Lord of the Rings, Hunt for Gollum, Practical Magic 2, DC's Clayface, and Supergirl, Drew Goddard's incoming script for a new Matrix, new Gremlins movie from Christopher Columbus, and a Goonies treatment. While the massive launch of Oh, so that is literally all it is. They have expectations that James Gunn's Superman will be the Deadpool and Wolverine for DC. Yeah, not bloody likely, my friend. It will be huge. It will probably not be as good, but it will be better than the last Superman we got. So that's at least a step up. Yeah, that is literally all they say about Goonies and Gremlins. So they're just talking about all the fired executives over at Warner Brothers because things aren't working, and they actually like to try and change stuff to make it better. So yeah, that's that. I think we have another thing that kind of goes. Yes. So continuing down the path of the past hits hard. This is a gaming piece. We have Sega set to bring back another dormant franchise, files trademark for Echo the Dolphin. In a move that could send waves across oceans, Sega has trademarked Echo the Dolphin, which reignites interest in the classic franchise. The batch of trademarks span from video game software and entertainment services to toys and other merchandise. It is unclear what Sega has in mind with Echo the Dolphin, but it's important to note the last video in the last video game in the cult classic franchise came out in 2000. Wow, I didn't even know there was one that recent, honestly. For those unfamiliar, while the game is about a dolphin named Echo, it is one of the wildest premises ever created in gaming. What starts as a simple story of a dolphin searching for his missing pod becomes a cosmic adventure. Seeking answers, he meets Big Blue, an ancient and wise blue whale. Big Blue directs him to the asteroid, Earth's oldest life form, who points our hero to the ancient sunken city of Atlanta. The story goes... Atlantis, rather. Oh, wow. Futurama moment there. The story goes further in cliche and mystery as Echo and then discovers an ancient alien race called the Vortex, which harvests Earth's oceans every 500 years to sustain their own planet. A mix of time travel, unique character design, ancient mysteries, and more make Echo the Dolphin one of the game's most unique stories. Makes one of gaming's most unique stories. Let's get a little bit of proofreading in here, shall we? Success of the first game expanded into several sequels and spin-offs. Echo the Tides of Time continues the story of the original 1994, introducing time travel and new challenges. Echo Jr. followed in 95 as an educational game aimed at younger audiences, focusing on marine life and simpler gameplay. 2000... Continuing? Okay. 2000, Sega took the bold move and made Echo in 3D. Defender of the Future for Dreamcast and PS2. Unfortunately, a planned sequel, Echo 2, Sentinels of the Universe, was set for release in 2001, was canceled after the Dreamcast was deemed an eponymous failure. Now, Sega seems poised to bring back the series following their revival of other classic 90s franchise. That said, Sega has a string of remasters and reboots coming out this year. These include more things from the past. Lunar Silver Star Story Complete, a remake of the 92 Sega CD game, originally released for the Sega Saturn in 96 and later localized PlayStation in 99. Other notable releases are a reboot of Jet Set Radio, which we've heard about. So no more the spiritual successor in, I can't remember the game now because I didn't play it. I apologize. Virtua Fighter 5 Revo re-release, which looks really, really damn good, which is set to launch on Steam January 27th. What the trademark really means remains to be seen. There is certainly a community for an Echo the Dolphin game. Yes, that is very, very true. Honestly, never played Echo. I played the Genesis game, I believe, because my buddy, when I was a kid, had it on his Genesis, but very, very briefly. I, for whatever reason, just did not get into Echo the Dolphin. But I know it has a huge fan base, so that is kind of awesome. Okay. Oh, what? So we have to call them tomorrow, then, is what you're saying. I love being an adult. It's so much fun. So, continuing, we have more things from the past. This one is a more recent past, kind of. The title for this article is No, Really. Justice League mortal Batman actor Armie Hammer stages comeback in vigilante film unrelated to to DC called The Dark Knight, written and directed by Uwe Boll. Yeah, again, a very interesting collection of words in a very interesting order. So your 2025 bingo card probably didn't have Armie Hammer on it trying to get his career back on track. But don't worry, it gets weirder. The disgraced actor has signed on to play the lead in a movie by Uwe Boll with a very familiar title. Per Variety, Hammer will star in The Dark Knight, a film unrelated to Batman and based on a script by Boll. Social media sensation Sanders, played by Armie Hammer, goes on a crusade that makes him a hero to the people and a menace to society according to the law. I'm checking streams real quick. Give me just a moment. Yeah, looks like everything is still functioning. Okay. Through the title, continuing on, though the title is bound to draw comparisons, maybe a plot will too. Executive producer Michael Roche assured Variety there is minimal risk of confusion. Our movie is very different from Chris Nolan's movie, so there is no danger of confusion. It's a Uwe Boll movie. It's not even going to make it into theaters. Boll would add, the story of The Dark Knight couldn't be more current topic, and I'm excited to bring it to life. The excellent cast. Roche declared that more cast members would be announced soon as the film preps a late January shoot in Croatia. So if you don't understand why I'm making all of the inferences when it comes to the director Uwe Boll, Boll back in the mid-aughts to the teens or so released a series of movies. Not like it wasn't like they were all related necessarily. Some of them related to each other, but by and large they were independent movies unto themselves, in a kind of producer's fashion, in that somehow he found a loophole to make it profitable to make bad movies, because he was doing it in like Germany or Croatia, as this one is going to be filmed. He did like the I'm gonna forget that one, so we're just gonna move on. He did, I'm pretty sure he did one of the DOA movies. He did the Postal movie. He did a few video game adaptations, and all of them were just really, really bad. Like straight to video kind of really, really bad. So the fact that this is how Armie Hammer is going to try and make his comeback is really, really interesting. Boll, who tried to Borderlands for its failure on social media, has a film out in Paramount Plus that is doing surprisingly well for itself, called First Shift. A crime drama with middling scores reached number 2 in the service's top 10 upon release last month. It looks like he's still shooting on really substandard stock, too, because the image quality of that is really, really poor. Hammer's career almost ended in 2021. Allegations of misconduct and even cannibalistic tendencies went public. Variety notes, following a lengthy probe, LA prosecutors in 2023 declined to charge the actor with any crime. 38-year-old, oh, that makes me feel old. 38-year-old states his career is getting back on track, and at this point, where he has to turn down roles due to scheduling. Oh, really? I mean, he is a really good actor, so that's not fully surprising, but one of those movies is an Uwe Boll movie. So, yeah. Dance card's getting pretty full, Hammer said on his podcast. That first job that I turned down after 4 years of this was the best feeling I've ever had. Excuse me. Our Hammer also stars in an upcoming Western, Frontier Crucible, alongside ex-Punisher Thomas Jane, okay, and Mystery Man William H. Macy. Oh! William H. Macy is always a win. I don't know if you know this, but William H. Macy, always a win. Irony of starring in a film called The Dark Knight is the actor was cast as Batman around the time the canceled project Justice League Mortal. This is true. This is not really unknown thing, I think. Hammer is also rumored to be in the running for the Cape and Cal again when Matt Reeves was quite literally looking for his vengeance in The Batman. The speculation didn't turn out to be credible in the slightest. No kidding. So, yeah. All right, we'll do one more short one, and then I think we're going to have to kill it for the stream. So thank you very much to everybody who has joined. Thank you very much to everybody. Actually, before we do that, before we get into the last piece, let's go to remind you that DUBBY, channel partner, they are not a sponsor, they are a partner. They don't like it when people who they partner with use the word sponsor because that implies a different relationship that I don't have. But we do have a partnership, and if you go use code Generally Nerdy at checkout when you go to dubby.gg to get your energy drink needs, then by all means do that, and you get 10% off. I get a little bit of a kickback, and everyone is happy. And you get really quality energy drink supplement. Super tasty. I don't think I've had anything from these guys yet that is not rather delicious, actually, when it comes to energy drink stuff. Check out, you can do a starter pack that will get you a shaker bottle, 3 flavors for $17, which means if you use the Generally Nerdy code at checkout, it will be $1.60 off, so it'll be like $15 or so. I haven't tried Shadow Monarch. Let's go to check out all of the things. So there's another sampler pack. This one's the hydro stuff, so caffeine, just really tasty high drinks. That is $18. And you get 2 different flavors. Oh no, 6 different flavors. Just happens to be that there's 3 and 3 in the picture. You can choose 6 flavors. The Calio Cream is really, really good. Probably my favorite orange cream energy drink out there on the market right now. I'm not just saying that because they're partnered with the channel. They legitimately feel that way. Push and Punch is also a really good fruit punch flavor. Those are the 2 that I have tried. I will be next up. I think I'm going for the Galaxy Grenade or the Dragonade. These are the 2 that I'm kind of trying to decide. But yeah, that's stand with it. I'm super excited about it. You should be too. Go check out DUBBY. Dubby.gg is the website. Check out code Generally Nerdy for your 10% off. And then also, once again, we are doing a merch push this year. We're going to be much more here for the merchandising. Meaning, specifically, check out the Music Nerd shirt. This is the base Music Nerd. There will be... I haven't exactly decided how often we're going to do special editions of each nerd shirt. Right now, I just have to get all of the base nerd shirts up, and then we'll start worrying about special editions. But yeah, we have the Music Nerd and we have the Book Nerd shirts, both available. There will be a Tech Nerd, there will be a Metal Nerd, there will be a Gaming Nerd, all of these things, and then specialty versions of them with much more intricate designs and more appropriate designs throughout the course of the year. So go check out the link in the description, or you can go to generally-nerdy.creator-spring.com because I am too poor to pay for a new URL for that right now. So yeah, that's where we're at with that stuff. I wonder. Yeah, I should have been doing that the whole time. Whatever. Okay, so let's take the Dubby off the screen. Let's move now into our final piece of news for the stream, and that is Robert Eggers is following up Nosferatu with a oh, come on, Bounding. Your code sucks so bad. Period piece about werewolves titled Werwolf. Nosferatu director Robert Eggers' next movie has been announced, and rather appropriately, it's called Werewolf, which means what else? He's turning his attention from vampires to werewolves. So he's going to be the one that revives the Universal monsters, not Universal themselves, it would seem. With continuing backing of Folks Features, a division of Universal Pictures, who know a thing or two about monsters, hey. Eggers will direct a tale set in 13th century England and slated for a Christmas release, just like his vampiric antecedent. Per The Hollywood Reporter, both the director and studio hope lightning strikes twice over the 2026 holiday. I mean, it's Robert Eggers. With as good as Nosferatu was, I feel like, I don't know that a werewolf movie will have the same draw, but it will have a pretty decent draw. And if he can keep the budget down like he did on Nosferatu, then they're going to have another hit on their hands for sure. Like, not going to be quite as big of a hit, but it will be a hit. Quote, the company, Focus, has dated the thriller for North American release on Christmas Day 2026. The parties are hoping for more holiday greetings as Nosferatu... What? That's a weird way to say that. Parties are hoping for more holiday greetings as Nosferatu was also released on Christmas Day and went on to become an improbable hit, THR says. Trade outlet adds Eggers co-wrote the script with Icelandic poet author Sion something, who helped him write the Northman, and that the dialogue will be authentic to medieval times. Ooh, that'll be difficult. Excuse me. It'll be probably more in the vein of The Witch as far as dialogue goes. That'll be interesting. Which also was an Eggers movie. The Middle English spoken back then was very different from modern language, i.e., what you are reading right now. Yeah. The script also features dialogue that was true to the time period and has translations and annotations for those uninitiated in Old English, THR reports. Initially, Eggers was planning on shooting the feature in black and white, but that is no longer the case, they add. Suffice to say that considering the setting and the dialect, Eggers promising another deep dive into a muddy, costumed, and violent time period consistent with the oeuvre, which has earned him a loyal following. Like Nosferatu, Werewolf is being executive produced by Home Alone director Chris Columbus. Oh, I did not know he EP'd on Nosferatu. That's really cool. And his daughter, Eleanor. Eggers, who co-writes, directs, and produces alongside partner Sean, is also developing an update to the Jim Henson classic Labyrinth, which we have not really heard anything about recently, and it's driving me mad. We're hearing more about this one, probably because there's a lot less red tape in doing something that is, I'm pretty sure, is in the public rights. I've been using the incorrect words, but you know what I mean. Given the success he's had with bleak interpretation of witches, Vikings, and one of the most infamous vampires in cinema, it would be interesting to see what Eggers does with lycanthropes. Surely he'll stay closer to the superstition than Wolfman or werewolves did. Yeah, we can only hope. So, all right, nerds. Let's do the thing, and we can get out of here. Appreciate all of you watching this who are here in chat. Anyone who is... Transfer out of here. Transfer out of... There we go. All right. And that's still on. Oh, is it still... What the hell's going on here, guys? Just gonna have to deal with the... Whatever. Oh, now... Oh, boy. Oh, I hope it's not affecting the stream. Whatever. So... Thank you very much, nerds, for joining. We will see you in the next one. Don't know exactly what's going to happen next week with the stream. It very potentially will be another short stream with no gaming. And, yeah, we're just going to have to kill it there. Might have to also do a single output next time because it seems the more outputs, the more issues OBS tends to have. So, we'll play with it a little bit, I guess. Thank you very much, nerds, for joining me in the next one. Before we go, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably